for everybody that's just coming in. Thank you. We are going to get started. All right. So let's get into our seats in a position that's comfortable. We want to sit up nice and tall. Start to feel connected to the ground beneath you by just wiggling the toes on the ground. Maybe even lift up the heels and gently lay them back on the floor. Then lift up the toes and lay them back on the floor. And just do this a few times to just get a sense of what the floor feels like for you. Notice the full length of your feet. Make sure that they're hips width apart, so when you look down, they are about 2 fists apart from one another. If you want to take your 2 fists and press them into the inner arches of your knees, and just hug your knees around your 2 fists, and you look down, you should see like a capital H. Yeah, there you go. You want to make sure that you have that space because that gives us our hips width apart. And this is part of our base position, so we will be coming back to this position a lot. Now we're going to start to build up. So we feel our feet position on the ground, hips width apart. We're going to start to notice our legs, our thighs. And next is our sits bone. And while we're here, adjust your sits bone so that you feel as though you are completely safe in the seat. Okay? As we lift out of our sits bone, lifting up through the tailbone, try to think about your spine being stacked all the way up to the lowest part of the neck. And if you can, maybe tilt the back just a little bit towards the chair, sit up a little bit taller. Squeeze the belly. And start to take a few breaths in and out. And as you're taking a breath in, allow the shoulders to just gently lift up a little bit. And then on the exhale, allow for the shoulders to roll back away from the ears. Inhale and breathe in. Shoulders lift up towards the ears, and then on the exhale, permission to roll back. Maybe even allow for the arms to feel heavy. And we're going to drop the hands by the side and just feel the full length of the arms all the way into the finger pads. If you notice anything about your hands that is tense, like you're gripping them, do your best to just send a gentle breath to them and open them up. We don't want to compromise the back in any way. We want to continue to sit up nice and tall in a seat. Again, breathing in and out. And this time allowing the breath to really centralize in our throat body and in our face. As you feel the full length of your face and your throat, just start to notice what that feels like. As you breathe in and out, see if you can even feel the temperature of your breath. Inhale, breathing in, and exhale, breathing out. Inhale, breathing in, and relaxing a little bit more in the body, and exhale, breathing out. If you want to bring your hands back to your thighs, you can, or you can place them on your belly. We're going to continue to collectively breathe together. All right, so on the next exhale, we're going to release all the air out our bodies until there's nothing left and the navel touches the spine. And then inhale and breathe in. And fill up as much as you can. And then on the exhale, release. And let's do a count together. On the next inhale, we're going to fill up to the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. And on the exhale, we're going to release to the count of 4. 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Pause. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. And pause. And then continue to take a few more breaths. And as you do this, just start to get a sense of what your body needs. Bringing your full body into focus from the tip of the nose, where the breath is coming in, all the way through to the feet. And if you wiggle those toes, you kind of reconnect to that grounding sense from when we first started to become aware of our feet on the floor. And just allow this to permeate throughout the body, this breath. We're going to be returning to the breath throughout this practice as a tool and as a friend to assist us. I'm going to say take about 5 breaths on your own and start to also develop this rhythm. Beautiful. One more breath, and if you have your eyes closed, you may open them. If you want to keep them closed, it's fine too. We're going to bring our hands down by our sides and slowly lift them up, keeping that same breath and that same rhythm as they rise up. We inhale and breathe. Roll those shoulders away from the ears. Sit up straight in the seat and stretch. It's the first stretch of the day. And just see if you can reach the ceiling. Now, if you have any shoulder issues, you can stretch just like this with the elbows bent, but it's up to you. Really, it's a matter of your body. And then lower the hands back down and bring them all the way back down by your sides. We're going to do that 3 more times. Inhale and breathe in. Pause and really stretch. Then exhale and let go. Gently arms relax by the sides. Inhale. And exhale. Last one, make it your own. I'll be demoing. Good job. Great job, guys. Beautiful. Right? You can bring your hands to your thighs. Drop your chin into your chest. And just pause for a moment. Try to make sure that your back is straight. You're going to roll your right ear to your right shoulder. And just sit here for a moment or two. Just to feel the stretch in the left neck body. And breathe. Chin back down to the center chest. We're going to bring our left ear to the left shoulder. And just sit here for a few moments. And as you're releasing your breath, try to let go of any stress. Relax any parts of the body that are not really necessary to be a part of this next stretch. Chin back to the center. And roll your right ear to the right shoulder. Take your left hand and just drop it down by your left side. Now you can stay just like this. You don't have to do anything else. Or you can take your arm and just like a robot kind of, You can start to just move the arm back and forth to loosen and open up the left neck body. And bring that hand back onto the left thigh. Drop the chin to the center chest, and then roll your left ear to your left shoulder. Right hand comes down by the side. Yep. And then you can bring it behind you. And just in case you can't see. Okay, bring that right hand back onto the right thigh. Drop the chin back to the center chest. And just go in for a few head rolls from the right to the left. Inhaling and exhaling as you breathe in and out. Come back to center. We're going to bring our hands onto the tops of our thighs, bringing our fingertips all the way to the tips of the knees. So when I say the top of the thighs, I just want to be specific. Hands are going towards the knees in the front. So I guess where the thighs begin. Okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to start to press the chest forward and then lean up out the pelvic bowl, lifting the heart up, dropping the head back, and taking the gaze up. And the neck body, right here where the throat is, becomes extended. I'll see if shaking my chair like this helps in any way. So I'm arching the back. It's going in though, so it's pressing towards the front. Then we're going to reverse back and we're going to dome shape the back body so that the middle of the back comes closer towards the chair. The hands stay extended out over the knees, chin tucks into the chest. Inhale and breathe in. Up we go. This is our cow pose. And when we reverse back, this is our cat. So think of a scared cat with the hump in their back. And find a rhythm and do this about 4 to 5 times. Just going back and forth. Find a range that works for your body. Take your time while you do it. And then come back to center. All right, beautiful. We're going to come back up to sitting. All right, arms extend out. We're going to take the shoulders, lift them up towards the ears, and then roll them back. Inhale and breathe in. Exhale, roll back. Inhale, shoulders lift. Exhale, roll back. Inhale and exhale. And then reverse. We're going to bring them forward and then back. Forward and then back. There we go. Beautiful, beautiful. We're going to sky flip the hands, lift the arms up overhead, roll the shoulders away from the ears. We're going to do our first flow of the class. So lift up a little bit higher, and then on the exhale, start to bring the chest down towards the thighs. Hands drop over the knees or over the sides. And just stay here for a moment. This is your first forward fold of the class. Inhale and exhale. Now all the weight is pressing from your thighs onto your thighs from your belly and your chest. Slowly we're going to half lift flat back, bringing our hands behind us so that they're facing one another. We're lifting out the pelvic bowl. We're squeezing the core. Inhale and exhale, and then let go and come back down towards the thighs. And then arms rise up, lifting up, reaching up overhead. Gaze is up. Hands come down by the sides. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, arms rise. Gaze is up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, squeeze the core as you come up, reaching arms overhead. If you want to bring the hands down through the heart center, you can. Arms are back up, reaching up high. And then come forward to your forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Beautiful. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms lift up, reach up overhead, and bring the hands to your heart center. Keep the palms pressed just for a moment. I want you to set an intention for the rest of this class. Now that you are a little bit more awake, take a few moments to just give yourself a bit of direction as to what you want to get out the next few moments, out the next hour, even out the day as your practice stays with you. Beautiful. We're going to bring our hands back up, reaching them up overhead. Keep the palms pressed together. We're going to interlace the fingers and then press the palms up towards the ceiling. Look up, gaze up. And this is one of my favorites. We're going to lean to the right, come out that pelvic bowl, pivot the body, taking that left arm behind you and gaze up. Try to keep both your sits bones down on the ground. Come back up to center. And then lean to your left, pivoting up on the right arm. Gaze is up. And come back to center. And hands come down by the sides. And just shake that out. Just like you're kind of fast walking a little bit, right? Okay, arms lift up, reach up overhead, interlace the fingers, palms up towards the ceiling. Let's do that one more time. Lean to your right, pivot up with the left arm, gaze is up. Let's really give those rib cages a nice stretch. Squeeze the core, use the belly. Come back to center, lean to the left, pivot open on the right, gaze is up, maybe even smile as you take it towards the sky. Come back to center, and hands come down by the sides, but this time, bring them behind you, interlace the fingers, and you can either just sit them here on your tailbone, or you can lift up out that away from the body so that the shoulder blades are kind of connecting together. And you can press the belly a little bit forward. And then undo the hands, bring them back by the sides. Good job. Good job. And just take a moment and feel your body here. Beautiful. All right, let's do some hand yoga. So our arms are going to come up right in front of us. Instead of overhead, they're in front of us. Okay? And you're going to take your right fingertips and wiggle your right fingertips. Sky flip the hand. And then take the left hand and place it underneath. So it just gives a little pop. And you can pull back on the fingertips. You don't go far. You want to have a mild sensation here. Potentially moderate, but nothing more than moderate. All right, everybody bring your elbows down by the side, continue holding the connection. This is your resting zone. I don't know when you need to rest. Only you can determine that. So this is a tool for you to use in between this practice at any point if you want to use that, okay, for this pose. So bring the hands back out, and it's just simple as that. You get back, you pick up where you leave off, okay? We're going to start with the pinky and begin rotating the pinky about 3 times forward, maybe like 3 times back. You don't want to go more than 2 to 3 times. And then you're going to do each finger and then the thumb. The trick here is to breathe. Find a rhythm for your breath. Doesn't have to be one breath, one movement. You just want to find a rhythm for your breath. Pull back completely. And hands start to come down by the sides. They're unwinding. Yep. And gently you can feel the right to the left. Arms are going to rise back up. Make sure those shoulders are away from the ears. Sky flip the left hand. Wiggle the left fingertip so you know you're on your left side. Take the right hand and pop it underneath and pull back. We're going to do the same thing with bringing the elbows inward and just hugging our sides with our inside of our arms so that you know where to rest. Come back out. Breathe in and out. Remember, keep a rhythm. Start rotating each fingertip forward and back. Make it your own. Every day is unique. Remember to breathe. That is the key. Okay, bring the hands back down and pause for a moment. Beautiful. I want you to bring the hands inward and just poke them towards you, and then bring them outward behind you. Bring them inward towards you, and then bring them outward. And what I'm doing is I'm flexing my wrist and my hands, okay? So I'm not just bringing in my arms. What I'm doing is my hands are guiding the direction, okay? So it's like you're opening up and then you're closing. And then you can add your back into it. Open up and then close. Open up and then close. Inhale. Chest expands and exhale. Belly squeezes. Last one. And then back into center and hands come down by the side. Beautiful. Take the shoulders, lift them up to the ears, and then drop them down. Shoulders up to the ears, and then drop them. 2 more, and then 1 more. Beautiful. All right. We're going to start to get into some twisting. Okay, I like the twist, so maybe you can twist a little bit right here. Just feel that and notice how that is on your spine right now. I want you to like test the gauge. All right, so you get an idea of what you feel like before we start getting into this part of the practice. All right, so you can bring the legs together or keep them apart. It's your choice. I'm going to do it bringing my knees together, pressing my feet onto the floor, squeezing the belly, so I'm lifting up out the pelvic bowl. And that's what you want to do to try to keep the legs together. Press your feet into the ground and squeeze the belly. If you think about your knees pressing together, they will evade you and they will go that way. I don't know why. It's like 2 magnets on the same pole. For some reason, that's what happens. So press more into the ground. There you go. And bring your hands to heart center. Take your hands up, come into like a butterfly position, lift up out the pelvic bowl and stretch. I want you to feel that stretch and feel that length inside the body. And then you're going to come back into that prayer position. Keep the length that you just gained. Take your right elbow and wiggle it. Continue to breathe. And then you're going to bring the left elbow down to the left thigh and look up to the sky. Breathing in and out. Now, if you like, you can come over, bring and cross that arm so that the elbow is sitting on the opposite leg. But you don't have to. Wherever that home is for your elbow, it's completely fine. Make sure you're looking up towards the ceiling. We're going to squeeze back up. We're still looking over the right side and pivot back to the center. We're going to take the hands up, lift them up overhead again, coming into that butterfly pose, extend up. Breathe in and out. Bring the hands back to heart center, but keep the length in the back. Wiggle the right elbow and bring the right elbow down to the right thigh. Left elbow now is up towards the sky. You're pivoting up. Breathe in and breathe out. And now if you like, you can take the elbow and press it onto the opposite thigh. So if we're on the right, we can come over to the left. But if it's not in your practice or you don't feel that flexible today, just keep it right elbow to the right leg. If you feel more flexible, right elbow to the left leg. We're going to come back up, still looking over towards the left side, pivot back to the center, lift the hands back up once again. This time open up the legs, all right? Open them up, maybe even open them a little bit wider. And look up and extend. Bring the hands down onto the thighs. Okay, and then we're going to drop our hands to the inside, coming down so that the elbows are on the inside of the legs. You can drop the head down. Now, if you want to hold on and continue to stay gripped around your ankles, that's fine. Otherwise, you can bring your hands all the way down to the ground and shake your head yes and no. And just breathe. One more breath. Bring both hands and wrap them around the ankles. So your right fingertips wrap around your right ankle, your left wraps around your left. You're going to squeeze more into your right hand and you're going to loosen up your left hand and extend it into the air. Peeling open. So now instead of your elbow being up on the left side, your left hand has fingertips that are pointing up towards the sky on the left side. Your gaze is up the arm and you're looking up towards the ceiling. Try to keep your sits bone grounded into the seat. We're going to take that left hand, bring it down the inside, slide it down, left fingertips wrap around the left ankle, right hand goes up, gaze is up. Now the right hand is all the way in the sky. Yeah, beautiful. Look up, trust yourself. Make sure both your sits bones are grounded into the seat. And then bring that right hand back down. All right. Gently, we're going to start to come up just a little bit. We're going to lift up the chest, bring the fingertips together, elbows press to the inside of our legs, and our legs press back. And just sit here for a few moments, using that resistance. Activate your thighs, activate the belly. And we're going to lift up a little bit more. Hands come to the tops of the knees. We're going to press ourselves forward and then press ourselves back. We're going to press ourselves forward and then back. Two more. Make sure you're breathing. One more. All right, now we're going to take our right hand. It's going to be all right here on the inside kind of the knee. You're not on top of the knee bone. You should be feeling the inside. You're going to press your shoulder down the middle of your body. Breathe in and out. Your left elbow bends. Come back up to center. Now we're going to go to the other side. Left hand, you can even pop it a few times on the inside of that knee. Your right hand is still on top of the thigh. This elbow is going to bend down, and it's almost like they're going to touch the arm. As you press your shoulder down the middle, right wherever you're in between of your legs. This is your left shoulder coming right down in between. And breathe. Back up to center. Awesome. Awesome. So we're going to toe heel the feet back together. All right. Now you can keep the legs closed or apart. It's your choice. We're going to bring the arms, lift them up overhead, Make that butterfly, get that space in the body. Bring the hands to heart center. Okay? You're going to look over towards your right. Come back to center. Look over towards your left. Come back to center. Pivot to the right. Back to center. Pivot to the left. Back to center. Arms rise up. Get that length. If you want to lift up a little bit more, making that butterfly, you can. Look over towards the right. And then just drop the hands to the outside of the right thigh. So the left arm crosses the body, and the hand is placed on the outside of the thigh. The right hand comes behind you. Look up, gaze up. Breathing in and breathing out. Just sit here for a few moments, and then try to take your gaze over that shoulder. The right shoulder. Come back up, arms rise overhead. Butterfly the fingertips to come back to center. You're going to come over towards the left. Hands come to the outside of the left leg. Take the left hand behind you. Look over your left shoulder. And just breathe. Breathe away in a way that supports your lengthening and the twist. As you inhale, you lengthen, and on the exhale, you twist. And we're going to come back to center. Lift up overhead. Undo the hands. We're going to go through a flow. Belly comes down to the thighs. Inhale. Come back up. Half lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms rise. Lift up overhead. Hands come to the side. All right. We're going to take our right foot. We're going to extend it out in front of us. And just keep your left leg bent where it is. So it's only your right foot. You're going to take your hands and you're going to just press them on top of that left thigh. Make sure that your ankle on the left side is right on top of your heel. So your foot is stacked. Your leg is stacked. Your knee is stacked. Everything is stacked. And you just press the belly forward a little bit. See, I'm not hunched over. I'm just pressed forward. Come back up. Beautiful. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So take the left foot, press the heel onto the ground. We're going to make sure that the right leg is stacked. Leaning forward, press the belly towards the thigh. Inhale and exhale. Come back up. Beautiful. All right, we're going to take our hands, interlace the fingers, and just wrap it around the knee. That's all. And then we're going to slowly lift the knee up and bring the knee towards our armpit on the right side. And then relax and let go. Not so much of leaving the knee, letting go of it with your hand, but just letting the knee fall into your fingertips. Now your back can kind of poke out just like it did in cat, where the back arches towards the back of the chair. Chin to the chest. And just let gravity kind of pull and stretch the inner back, the mid back, the shoulders. And slowly and gently press the belly forward, lift the chest up. All right, so if you can, I want you to take your foot and place it on top of your left leg. I know some people ask me to do this, and I don't do it all the time. If your leg is like this, that is completely fine. If you can't do this at all, give me a second and I will give you a modification. But first, let me get everybody situated in this pose. So you're going to sit up nice and straight in the seat, and you can just kind of wiggle open the thighs, okay? And now you can sit just here like this, or if it's in your practice, you can start to lean forward, pressing your hands, your forearms, and your hands together, laying them on top of the leg. Chin to the chest. Now you can stay like this, or you can drop the hands all the way down to the outside, hanging over the leg. If you're sitting up like this, you can just hold on, wrapping your arm around to support, keeping the chin to the chest. And for those of you who want to modify, you're going to take your right foot and extend it out in front of you. Take the left foot, cross it on top, and do an extended leg, seated forward fold. Okay? And then you can start to press your belly forward. So that is the modification. And take about 3 to 4 more breaths here. This is a really, really good hip opener. And after this, we're going to come to do some standing poses. So we really want to have an open lower body. Gently start to rise back up, belly, chest, and then head. And you're going to bring your fingers around the knee, lift it back up, and then place the foot back down on the ground. If you're in modified pose, you're just going to unwind your feet and bring the right foot back to meet the left. We're going to do a flow, and then we're going to go on to the other side. So arms rise, reach up, lift up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we rise. The hands come down by the side. Beautiful. We're going to take our fingertips, interlace the fingertips around the left knee, and just sit here for a second. Allow the weight to fall into our fingertips. The back of our body kind of touches the back of the chair, chin to the chest. On the next inhale, we'll slowly use the core to help us lift up the knee. And we're going to bring it just slightly shifted over so it comes towards the inner arm on the left side. And breathe. And then gently we'll lower it back down again, and we'll just sit here for a few moments. We want to feel the weight of gravity start to stretch out the mid-back. We did this on the right side, but now we want to kind of feel this on the left. And the more you really just trust that your fingertips will hold the weight of the knee, the more that you'll feel the stretch. Gently, we're going to start to lift back up, squeezing the core. We're going to take our foot, we're going to place it on top of the right leg. For those that are modifying, I'll be with you in a second. And you'll just open up into your seated half pigeon. And I always say to just kind of push a little up and down. This is a good way to ease into the pose. And if you have your knee up a little bit, you can just kind of wiggle it. I know that there's different flexibility for everybody. That's why we offer modifications. And then if you can bring your hands down to the leg if it's in your practice. Bringing the belly towards the inner leg. You can stay here just like this, or you can drop your hands over It's your choice. For those of you who are modifying, you can stay with me. Take that left foot, bring it down in front of you. Take the right foot, cross it over, press the chest forward, and come into that extended leg forward fold. That's for those that are modifying. Take about 4 more breaths. And slowly you're going to start to just lift up belly, head, and then chest. Taking your time. Interlace the fingers, press the knee back up towards the inner arm, and place the left foot on the ground. If you're in that modified pose, you just want to unwind the legs, come out and bring your feet back to hips width apart. And we'll all meet back in hips width. We'll come through a flow. Arms rise, reach up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, this time I want you to come up into standing, come up into mountain pose, reach up, lift up overhead, soften the knees, and then bring the hands down by the sides. And let's just stay in mountain pose for a second. If you need your chair in front of you, that's completely fine. Just bring your chair in front of you, but we're just standing for this moment. We're not doing anything else. And I want you to relax the body from the crown of the head, down the shoulders, down the waist, the legs, soften the knees, the feet. Feel support in the ground beneath you. And just notice how it feels now to stand. Beautiful. Okay, we're going to come to the front of our seat this time. So here you have the back of your chair, and then you have the front of the chair, the place where you are sitting your butt. Okay, so we want to come to the front. All right, and the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take, and if you have a wall near you and you need it, or you need something to help you, you can. But I do want to have the class kind of advance a little bit. So we're going to take our right foot and place it on top of the chair. Soften the knee. You can hold on to the wall. Okay? And you can just lean forward. And just feel a little bit of a stretch in your glutes. Okay, now you continue to hold on, or you can bring both your hands onto the thigh. It's your choice. And take about 2 more breaths. If you feel like you just can't do this, just keep your foot on the ground and then just lean forward. You just give yourself a little space, okay? You can always take the back of the chair as well. And bring your foot back down to the mat. We're going to take the left foot, bring it up on top. If you're holding on to the chair, hold on to the chair, hold on to the wall. All right? And you're just leaning forward just a little bit. Your hips are square with the chair in front of you. And you're just getting a nice little stretch. That's all. We're not doing a lot here. If you're holding on to the wall, great. If you feel like you can't do it, just bring the foot forward just a little bit and then lean forward. Okay? You're just shifting that weight forward. And then come back. Both feet come down. Now we're going to go the other way. Bring the hands to the top of the seat. Okay? Keep yourself up. And normally we do this downward dog here on the other side, right? So today we're coming down just a little bit more. You can start to walk the feet to a comfortable position. You can drop the head in between your arms. Hands are still on top of the seat. Knees are still soft. If for some reason you feel like this is too much, for any reason at all, you can go back to the other version, which is behind the chair, okay? Which is like this. All right, otherwise, we're going to be using the seat. This way we can go just a little bit deeper into our pose. And shake the head yes and no. You want to walk the feet out, you can do that as well. All right, beautiful, beautiful. Slowly we're going to walk our feet towards the chair. All right, our hands are still on top of the chair. I want you to take your left foot, so wiggle your left foot and take your left foot back. You're going to take it to about a 45-degree angle. The right foot is going to be facing forward. Soften the knee so that you're in a lunge position. And then take the left hand and lift it up in the air, side angle. If you're holding on to the back of the chair, that's fine. Anything that we're doing here, you can just hold on to the back of the chair. Okay? Now, if you want to extend out your legs on different range, you can do that as well. But for right now, I'm keeping it kind of close because this is new. Take the left hand, bring it back to the top of the chair. Bring the left foot back to meet the right. Okay? Take the right foot, wiggle the right foot, bring it back behind you. Okay? Soften the knee and on the left leg so that the knee is stacked on top of the ankle and you're in that getting ready for side angle position. The right foot now is at that 45-degree angle and you're going to take your right hand and lift it up into the air. Breathe in and out. So this is our side angle. We do this in yoga all the time. Like I said, if you're holding on to the top of the chair, you can. But for those who want to go a little bit deeper into the practice, this is a good way to use the chair. And bring both hands back down. Bring your right foot back to meet your left. And come back into that downward dog. Breathe in and out. And slowly walk the feet back to the chair. Slowly, we're going to take our fingertips away from the chair and start to lift up vertebrae by vertebrae, allowing our vertebrae to stack all the way up until we're standing, into a mountain pose. Yes. Good job. All right. And we can come behind our chairs now. Because the reason why we're going to come into a tree sequence. All right? What we're going to do is we're going to rock our weight back and forth. You can hold on to your chair. Rock your weight back and forth. And then finally, we're going to kind of roll our weight onto the side of the body where the chair is. So I don't know where your chair is. Mine is on my right side. So you can do the same thing and follow me. Just make sure that you're able to keep up with leaning towards the chair. Okay? You're going to take that weight and you're going to shift it all into your right foot. Bring your left foot up so that the heel is right above the ankle on the right side. The toe is still on the mat. Okay? And this is how we can start out our tree. This is it. You want to take your hands away from the chair and kind of play around with that. You can, right? If you feel a little wobbly, hold on to the chair. Squeeze up through the body, squeeze the thighs, squeeze the glutes. Some people think that tree is like this. Tree is very active from the feet all the way up to the crown of the head. We're grounding through the feet, rooting ourselves, so as we come up, we feel the strength inside our core, and that extends throughout our body. Now, if you want to go to the next level, you can bring your foot up a little bit higher, placing it on the inside of the foreleg. Not on the knee, not on the ankle, but on the inside, right in between them. If you want to hold on to the chair, you can. And it's nice to feel a little challenge. This gives you the agility to kind of be awake and alive. Always challenging yourself to go further. Now, be safe at all times, but it's okay to be a little bit wobbly. The last place for the tree is to place your foot on the inside of the thigh. Okay, so you have 3 different options. You can use the chair as much as you like or as much as you don't like. You can move your hands around, and I guarantee you, don't feel bad because you see me here if you haven't got to this place. Trust me, if I close my eyes, I'm wobbling to the side. What it is it's all about the challenge and bringing ourselves into a new place of being uncomfortable in order to grow and expand. And just when you think you've gone to one level, there's always something else that you can do to take it even a step further. Trust me. So don't feel discouraged by anybody else doing the pose like this, or even like this, or even if you're holding on to the chair and you're like, oh, I'm holding on to the chair, don't worry about that. Start where you are. We're going to bring that foot back down and just shake out the right foot. Really shake it. Beautiful. And we're going to wobble back and forth just to feel that weight shift. All right. Now, I would suggest taking your chair, bringing it onto the other side, or you go onto the other side of your chair and meet me so that we're both on the left side. All right. We're going to shift that weight over into the right leg, bring our right foot to a place where we feel comfortable. All right. To start, we're just starting here in our tree. Heel on top of right above the ankle, or the inside of the foreleg, or on the inside of the thigh. Hands come to any place that you feel like you want to take them to. You want to hold on, you can hold on. And now the next step, and this we didn't really get into this on the right side, is to try to find a little bit of peace in the uncomfortability, in the wobble. Try to find your breath. It's easy to hold your breath and be rigid, but notice that trees bend. And when trees bend, that prevents them from breaking from the wind. They can't be rigid, otherwise they don't survive. So allow yourself to be a little bit more relaxed. Depend more on the breath. Use the ground to support you and lift out of it. Be a little confident in how you lift up through the legs, through the thighs, into the pelvic bowl. Your pelvic bowl lifts up into the chest towards the heart. And then find a place and position where you can connect to a sense of peace. And if you're wobbly, then know that you're learning. Just, you don't want to fall. But you do want to be able to give yourself a little leeway into activating those balance sensors in your feet. Okay? And the more you practice, the more you'll find it easy to gain balance. Bring your right foot down, shake out your left. All right. We're going to do one more downward dog. We'll do it on the other side of the chair just because it's here. You want to go in a little bit deeper, you can, by placing your hands, if your chair has it, down one notch. And then come back up to standing. Arms rise. Lift up, reach up overhead, and bring the hands back to mountain pose before we come back to our seated position. I just want you to notice your body. Notice how you feel. Notice the difference between the sitting and the standing. And then come back to your chair. All right. We're going to go through a flow and then close class. Okay, so let's take our arms, reach up, lift up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, hands come to the thighs. And here we're going to come in to Savasana. Relax the feet. Well, maybe even allow the legs to kind of fall apart from one another. Relax the thighs, the sits bone, the belly. Maybe relax the shoulders and give yourself a little bit more permission to let go. Let go of anything that remains that doesn't serve you in this Savasana. Relax the arms and the hands, the face, the crown of the head. Allow the tongue to fall away from the top of the mouth and breathe. And breathe in a way with full and deep gratitude for each breath as you sit here in this moment. You have nothing to do and nowhere to go but to be present with your breath. See if you can feel the sense of love and gratitude for this moment as you breathe in and as you breathe out. I'm going to ring the singing bowl. Just allow it to be part of your Savasana. Nothing to do, nothing to react to. It's just part of the practice. And continue to breathe. When you're ready, you can begin to unclench your hands if they're clenched. Maybe breathe in and out in a very mindful way, knowing that you're ready to reset and come into the room around you. Opening the eyes, relaxing anything else, using final breaths to just let go. As you prepare to move on with the rest of your day, I thank you so much for joining me today. It's truly a blessing to be able to support you in your practice. I hope you have a beautiful and blessed day. Namaste. Thank you.